to Kiprich and Kizzy. Sad man, sad, 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 sad. I can never, 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 become so numb and cold-hearted to the point where, you understand what I'm saying? People, we need some heart. We need some heart. I also saw, ladies and gentlemen, boy, Mr. Cliff Hughes, we've had a conversation. We had a conversation back in the day, probably once or twice, when you came to Chancellor Hall. For those who don't know, Cliff Hughes is also a chancellorate like myself. We're from the same leadership space, if you want to call it that. But this is what I'm gonna say, Bolo. I don't wish death upon anybody. And though Mr. Hughes, he has lost a lot of credibility over the years. I remember when we used to watch Cliff Hughes on Impact. Who remembered Impact? Who remembered Impact with Cliff Hughes? My God, those were the days before he became tainted with the agenda of the Jamaica Labour Party. And when he became so marred with politics and just the nastiness of propaganda, disinformation, and misinformation. There was once a time where I had a certain level of respect for this man. And just as though I always had the dream of being interviewed by Ian Boyne, I also wanted to be interviewed by Cliff Hughes, because growing up, I saw these men as credible people who have achieved a lot, and they would just know how to present my story to the world. But these days, Mr. Hughes, I've lost a lot of respect for you. Not because of your political or your perceived political preference, because I'm pretty sure you would probably say that you're not a Labourite, and that the nationwide news network, they are not politically affiliated. But my God, somebody said I'm not old enough to talk about back in the days. Of course, back in my days and your days may be different. But back in my days, when Impact was on TV, I would enjoy watching Impact because it had an impact. I cannot say the same for now. Nationwide has no impact. But I wish you good health, Mr. Hughes. I wish you good health, and I hope that as you take the break from your journalism, some may ask if it is even credible journalism or if it is paid journalism, but I hope that you will take some time off to think, do some introspection. How have I really contributed to the space of journalism? Did I lose my credibility over the years? It is alleged that he suffered a minor stroke. That's what I am hearing in the grapevine. I'm not sure as to how true that is. But I hope Mr. Hughes is doing some introspection. Did I lose credibility? Did I do damage to the airwaves by disseminating propaganda, partisan news, biased reporting? Have I allowed my perceived political preference to mar the very essence of what an independent journalist should be? It is sad, ladies and gentlemen, but I won't speak death and gloom over the man. I would ask that the Lord spare him, so that he will repent and turn from those ways that have so negatively affected Jamaica, the political landscape, the mindsets of impressionable minds. I hope that he will find it within himself, ladies and gentlemen, to turn a new leaf in 2026. It is sad, but his golden boy got him to say a few things. Yes?
In case you were wondering about the well-being of our CEO and leader, Cliff Hughes, the man says he's feeling much better. Drop it again, Kevin, one more time.
Good morning, nationwide staff, friends, colleagues. I'm in a much better place this morning. 2 mornings ago, I got a scare, woke up with blurred vision and not walking steadily. So I've been at Andrews since then, and they have been taking good care of me. And I should be out of the hospital by tomorrow, and I'm to be told by my doctors how long they want me to be out. But they tell me that my best treatment now is rest and be stress-free. All right? But I'm good. I'm feeling much better today than I was 2 days ago.
So there you have it. Cliff Hughes, in his own words, and there are some changes that Cliff may have to make, you know, a big box of this where you eat at daytime and them something there. But anyway, as I said, it's your story to tell, and I won't try to invade on your territory.
Well, there are a lot of changes that he will have to make. Not just probably his eating habits, as it was alluded to. But, you know, we all must reach a place in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're getting up in age. There must come a time when you sit and you ask yourself the question, have I been doing a good job? It's not just changes in his diet, but Mr. Hughes needs to do some introspection as to how he disseminates news and information to the public. If you continue to dance with the devil, he will eventually follow you home. I'm going to say it again and leave it there. If you continue to dance with the devil, one day he will follow you home. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Perspective.